Hi, Dr. Williams.
Good to meet you.
Thanks for staying today. Dr. Williams, you head up the ketogenic diet team at Evelina Children's Hospital in London. Taking into account the fact that there is a variation from patient to patient, in general, where do you think the diet belongs in priorities when treating kids with difficult to control seizures?
Well, first of all, let me just say that I'm a paediatric neurologist with responsibility for children with epilepsy. So the children that I see all have epilepsy in my regular daily practice. And because of the nature of the post and my work, the children I see are those who are resistant to medication. So they come to me after they've been to another paediatrician.
Right.
By the time they come to me, they're still having seizures and they've been through 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 medications. And I know that most of those children will not respond if I start medication number 5 or number 6 or number 7. The chance of those children becoming seizure-free is really, really small with the next drug in the list. And so I have to think of other options. I have to think, are they candidates for epilepsy surgery, or is the ketogenic diet an option for this family? And so in my regular epilepsy practice, it has a very firm place as those other options I need to think about when a child first meets me and they're drug resistant.
Do you, sometimes when you have a child presented before you that maybe has been down a long drug route, and you are maybe looking at either surgery or the diet, whatever treatments are available to you, do you sometimes wish that these children had been sent to you earlier? Do you think sometimes it's too late with the amount of meds that they've been on?
There's undoubtedly some children that come to me a long way down their pathway, if you like. But I think that is improving, and we work closely with our paediatricians in the region. We have a South East Epilepsy Network, and there are quite clear lines of communication. We're in contact with the paediatricians very regularly. They know now that there's a good epilepsy surgery programme, they know there's a good ketogenic diet service running, and I'm getting plenty of referrals early on in the course of children's illnesses, so I think that has changed.
So you've seen an improvement in this?
Yes, well, I'm certainly getting plenty of referrals of children sometimes who've been through smaller numbers of drugs.
And you look at this as a positive thing?
Yes.
Excellent. How have recent refinements of the diet made it more palatable?
I think the availability of the preparations, the liquigen and the ketocal, I mean that we have more options for families. Certainly we're looking after a number of children with gastrostomies at the moment, and we know that from our point of view in terms of dietetic time they're going to be slightly easier than some of the other children we look after because we have ketocal. Likewise, liquigen, we can give families a bottle of liquigen the first time we see them in clinic and say, go home, have a try, have a taste, see what it's like, see whether it fits, and then they can come back having done their homework. We are thinking about, well, we're not thinking about, we are going to start probably a number of young people on modified Atkins diets early in the spring, because there's good evidence that that's effective, and I think that's going to be a very useful tool for us.
Would you like to see the dietary treatments for epilepsy become more prominent in the future?
I think there's a major funding issue, and that's the limiting factor at the moment.
How would you suggest, or how can you see that we can rectify that?
I think it has to be done on a national level. Part of the difficulty is because the way the health service is funded at the moment, and that we've gone through various changes in funding, and that, for example, it's one thing that's really on my mind at the moment, as you can probably tell. An outpatient appointment with me and the dietitian and the epilepsy nurse is charged at the same rate as an outpatient appointment for half an hour with me. So the money that the hospital make out of an outpatient appointment is not proportional to the time and the effort and the professional time involved. And that's the way things are funded at the moment. That clearly has to change. And it's not only about ketogenic diet clinics, it's also about multidisciplinary team clinics, multidisciplinary team working for a variety of children with complex needs. And that, I think, needs to be addressed quite urgently at a national level. That's to do with health service funding. Yeah, yeah.
Do you want to see your own clinic increase?
We have a very high demand for our clinic, and we have increased our ability to look after more children over the past few months. Every time we increase our capacity, demand exceeds our capacity, and so it's self-fulfilling. I only receive referrals from the South East Thames region, and yet clearly there are many, many more children. There are more children in the South East Thames that I can't see at the moment. So I think as demand will continue to increase appropriately.
What would you say to your colleagues, peers around the world, or doctors and physicians that are still resistant to using any form of dietary treatments, are still, no, we want to go down drugs, we want to try these? What would you say to them?
I think there's a point in a child's epilepsy journey when they have proved themselves that they are resistant to drug medication. Drug number 3, drug number 4, drug number 5, still having seizures, and you need to be able to think of all the options available to that family. You need to be sure that epilepsy is the true diagnosis. You need to be sure that it's drug resistant, that there's compliance, not a compliance issue. Then you need to look at the other options: epilepsy surgery, vagal nerve stimulation, dietary options, and behavioural options. Ketogenic diet has to be there. It's very, very successful for some children. We have several children who have become seizure-free, having regular admissions to PICU with status, and it's life-changing for those families.
I can fully appreciate that sentiment. Dr. Williams, thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.